I am Nate Walker, 34 American. I have a very special job, a traveling cosmic guide. That means I don't lead tourists through museums or famous landmarks. My job is simply to stand behind a small wooden counter, offer advice when travelers are confused, and help them change their perspective on the world, or even on themselves. Every day, I face strange questions about nature, about the universe, about things human beings can't control. The sign on my counter clearly reads, "Ask us anything." And that's exactly how I approach every question, every request from a customer. I can't make the universe stop, but I can help them see the beauty in the things that cannot be changed. Small lobby of a hotel in Iceland. Outside the window, heavy snow is falling. The sky is gloomy. An American couple walks up to the counter with scowling faces, clearly displeased. They move from the entrance toward the counter as if they want to settle a big problem. The wife slaps her hand on the counter. "We paid to see the aurora, but now it's covered by snow. Can you call the government to turn the storm off? In America, we have the technology to do this. You know." I smile lightly. I'm afraid that's not possible. However, I can help with some hot drinks to keep you warm while you wait. As for the storm, it's still under cosmic warranty. The wife stares at me, eyes wide. Neither of them understands what's going on, but then they both laugh and accept the 2 hot cocoa vouchers I hand them. I can't turn off the storm, but at least I can help them feel a little less tense. One afternoon, I was chatting with my South African friend Lily in Ohio. She told me about her experience living in America. One day, she shared a funny story from her dorm. Lily laughed. My roommate asked me, "What language do South Africans speak?" I was surprised, so she didn't know. Lily shook her head. She was shocked when I said I speak Zulu and English. She said, "But you're white. How can you speak African?" I thought for a moment and then burst out laughing. It's not easy for people to understand that language doesn't belong to a skin color. But hey, we've got a handbook for perspective shifting, right? Once I led a group of American students around the ancient ruins of Pompeii. They had heard the story of Mount Vesuvius erupting and the destruction it caused. One of the students asked me, face serious student, "This is really tragic. But why didn't they call 911 before the volcano erupted? If they knew it was going to blow, why not call the fire department?" I took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. 911, and phones didn't exist in the year 79 AD. Not everything can be solved instantly. The student shook their head. "Oh, that's pretty careless, isn't it?" Me, not exactly. Things arrive in their own time, like the aurora. You have to wait and accept. I was on a flight from New York to London, seated next to an American businessman. As the plane began to land, he looked out the window and said, "Businessman, I'm really excited to see the Tower of London. I've always wanted to see where the Queen lives." Me? "Actually, the Queen lives at Buckingham Palace, not the Tower of London." The businessman objected. "No, that's her summer home. The Tower of London is the official residence. Just watch the movies." I shook my head, explaining, "No, the Tower of London has a military history. Buckingham Palace is the official residence." The businessman still didn't believe me. "You're definitely not British, are you?" I sighed. This happens often. Movie lore overtakes reality, but I still have to try to set things right. Once my family took an American friend to visit the Irish countryside. When she saw the flocks of sheep in the fields, she was utterly delighted. After a while, she asked friend, "So, at night, where do the sheep go? Do they all go back into the barn?" My uncle was puzzled. "They stay out in the fields all night." "It's no problem," she gasped. "But what about lions or bears? That's really dangerous." My uncle, "There are no lions or bears in Ireland." And after that, I had to pull out the perspective shift notebook to explain further that sometimes fear comes from not really understanding the world around us. I worked as a server in a fine dining restaurant in Paris. An American couple came in and ordered an expensive bottle of Bordeaux. When the wine was served, the man waved and said, "Man, we don't need to look at it. Bring us 2 big glasses and put in plenty of ice." The sommelier was stunned, spirit leaving his body. "Sir, red wine shouldn't be drunk with ice." The man insisted. "My friend, I'm the customer. I'm paying. If I want a wine slushie, you have to serve it. That's how we drink it in California." I stood by side and handed them another perspective shift booklet where I had written, "Red wine isn't for the hurried." I was sitting in a cafe in Vienna, listening to a young American girl complain to her mother, "Girl, mom, I'm bored. Everything is old buildings, old music, old art. Why is there nothing new?" "Mother, I understand, honey. Europe is indeed very classical, but perhaps new is another meaning of growth." The girl remained stubborn. "Then, let's go back to the Mall of America. At least it has roller coasters." I looked at. The girl smiled gently and added to my notebook, "New is when you change your perspective." I worked at a souvenir stand near Buckingham Palace. An American tourist walked in and asked tourists, Do you have tickets to meet the Queen, me? I'm sorry we don't sell tickets to meet her. Tourist. Then can I meet a prince? I'm willing to pay for a photo. I smiled. You can meet a prince anytime if you know how to put respect into every step. Exterior, beach, sunset on the water, autumn. An American tourist approaches the coffee counter, looks out at the sea, then asks me hesitantly, Tourist, hi, may I have an itemized bill for this sunset? I want to know exactly what each part costs. I smile, certainly. Line 1, light. Line 2, color. Line 3, a moment you'll remember on Tuesday. The tourist smiles softly, then I'll keep this receipt until Tuesday. I lightly touch the coffee cup. A sunset never loses its value. It just needs something else to make it shine. Interior, small lobby. Hotel in Sydney, dusk. An American guest steps up to the counter with a dissatisfied look. Guest, why is the seawater here so salty? I took a sip, and it feels like the ocean is punishing me. I gently reply. That's the ocean's way of saying, hello. It's not always easy to swallow, but it's the seasoning of life. Guest surprised? I never thought of it that way. I keep smiling. The sea isn't a swimming pool, it's a place to feel. Guest laughs, then I'll try to stop worrying about the salt. Thank you. Exterior, the Alps, a small inn, cold night. An American family is having dinner at the inn. The father holds up his phone and asks me, Father, could you give me the Wi-Fi? We need to watch a game. I smile. Out here, the internet isn't the only thing that needs to be fast. The father sighs, but we have to watch the game right now. The internet here is so slow. I hand them a small book. Try watching with your eyes instead of a screen. The game will still be there once you've fully felt this moment. The father hesitates, looks out the window, then nods gently. I think I'll try. To hear what this mountain has to say. Exterior, lawn outside an ancient shrine in Kyoto, Japan. Dusk, an American family stands under the eaves of the shrine waiting. The father asks me, Father, it's beautiful, but could there be a glass terrace to keep us dry? I smile and look up at the sky. The sun and the rain never ask our opinion, but we can learn to enjoy them instead of trying to change them. The father frowns a little. Right? But why not innovate to keep tourists dry? I point to the clouds and the sun just peeking through. Sometimes new is when we learn to accept what is old. Interior, a corner of a classic cafe in Vienna, night falling. A group of American tourists sits at a table near the counter looking puzzled. A young woman holds her phone and asks, Young woman, why is everything here so old? The music, the art, the buildings, everything's old. Is there anything new? I smile and hand her a cup of cocoa. New is when you savor each breath you have right now. She listens, then takes a gentle sip. Maybe I get it. Sometimes you just need to slow down. Me? Exactly. Slow down to feel everything around you and embrace what you have. Exterior, an old square in Paris, early spring morning. An American tourist stands before a large painting, looking at it with a puzzled expression. Tourist, I think this painting is beautiful, but could it be modernized? Add a bit of glass and a canopy to make it more contemporary? I reply slowly. We can find modernity in the very antiquity of what has endured. The tourist ponders for a moment, then smiles softly. Maybe I need to look at it from a different angle. Me? Yes. And sometimes with just a bit more patience, everything becomes clearer. Exterior, under a bright night sky, Pacific coast. An American tourist asks me, Tourist, can I book an appointment with the stars in the sky? I smile kindly. Why make an appointment? They'll appear at the right time if you wait long enough. The tourist looks up, astonished at the starry sky. So I just, look me exactly, and once you learn to wait, you'll see everything become truly beautiful. The tourist closes their eyes, takes a deep breath. Thank you. I'll try waiting. Exterior, old quarter in Tokyo, quiet night. A visitor from America asks me, Guest, I see many new things here, but why isn't anything modern like the places I've been? I smile lightly and hand her a cup of tea. Here, new is learning to understand everything around you and how you see life. She thinks for a moment, maybe I've been looking at things the wrong way. Me new or old? What matters is how you experience them and discover the value in each moment. Exterior, starry beach at night, autumn. The sky is luminous, the stars sparkling like faces glimpsed when people first awaken from a dream. Gentle waves lap the shore as if telling stories to each other in the language of wind and water. The sea breeze is cold, but it doesn't make me feel lonely. I, Nate Walker, stand on the beach looking up at the night sky. The surface of the sea reflects the stars like a living painting. I don't know when it happened, but my job was no longer just being a guide. Gradually, I realized I was simply an observer of people's questions, hopes and dreams, helping them find new angles on the world around them. Beside me, a group of American tourists stands in silence, gazing at the star-filled sky. They are no longer rushing to take photos or check in on their phones. They are simply savoring the moment. One of them turns to me and asks, "Tourist, can you explain why we can see so many stars like this?" I smile and answer gently, because sometimes you have to pause and wait a moment to see life's wonders. These stars aren't here for us to glance at in a hurry. They're just there waiting for us to notice. The tourist nods thoughtful. "Thank you. I'll remember that." A long while passes. We all stand still looking up at the sky, and no one says another word. We don't need to seek anything beyond this very moment. And I realize this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, help people find peace in the small, unexpected things. The next morning, my small wooden counter is set up again at the corner of the old street as usual. But today, something feels different. People come with grateful eyes and questions not about changing nature, but about better understanding themselves. The little perspective shift cards in my notebook have gradually become tools, not only to help them explore the world, but also to help them explore who they are. A man unfamiliar, but with a gentle smile, comes up to my counter and asks, "Man, yesterday I stood and looked at the sky a little longer. I think I understood something. Life doesn't have to be a race." I nod. That's right. Sometimes we need to stop, not to run away, but to touch our own selves. I still stand here every day, welcoming odd questions, strange requests, and unexpected moments. And I understand that my job isn't to provide answers. My job is to help people find the right questions, the questions that make them see things differently, that pull them out of the whirlpool of haste so they can step outside and look up at the sky. Final scene. Early morning sky atop a hill of peaceful autumn. I stand on the hilltop, one hand waving a gentle farewell. To passersby, the other raised toward the sky, watching clouds drift by. I breathe out softly and think about the moments I've lived, about all the people who have come and gone in this life. They came with questions and bewildering requests. And I, with a small notebook, a pen, and sticky notes that read patience, hot chocolate, helped them see the world from a new angle. I cannot change the universe, but I can help them change how they view the things they cannot control. That is the most beautiful thing I can do in this life. At last, I lift my head and smile. Patience and hot chocolate.